Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again here tonight to LSR TV. We are here at Auto Club Speedway for the Adrenaline iRacing League, as qualifying just on the way, having a little bit of a difficulty getting YouTube to work properly, as it doesn't want to work on the 4th. Quite frankly, I don't either, but I like racing, so I'm here. Alongside me going to be Devin Henry. Devin, what kind of race can we expect here tonight?
It is big, it is fast, and it is wide. Remember, guys, we are running open setups here in the Adrenaline iRacing League. So that means that we're going to have guys set up for different parts of this racetrack, the bottom, the middle, the outside, and having to make sure that your car is going to operate well if someone's passing you and you got to run somewhere else. This track ends up being so technical sometimes that I tell you what, the racing action just goes through the roof, and I'm expecting us for some 3-4 wide racing here after we leave Daytona and head over here to Montana, California at the virtual Auto Club Speedway.
Yeah, 5 minutes on the clock. We're roughly a minute and a half into that time already. And again, I expect to see, like you said, 2-3 wide action. Maybe we'll see some 4. Don't count on it, though. We'll see just how this goes. The real question up in the air is, at Auto Club, what kind of caution counts are we going to have here? Will it be high? Will it be low? Quite frankly, Devin, I've seen both. I've seen Caution Fest. I've seen races that go caution-free here. It's really going to be an interesting one, as we'll quickly fix those overlays real quick. But if you had to pick a happy medium, I would expect and hope to see maybe 2 to 3 cautions here for this 120-lap race. That's going to give these guys a chance to strategize, but not stay under yellow too much.
Yeah, and Daytona really wasn't too bad for what a Daytona race typically is, going 500 kilometers. Last season, when these guys were running the Truck Series instead of the Cup Series cars, they actually only had 5 cautions for 19 laps, but that was only 100 laps. We're going to add a number of laps here tonight, extending the race with the Cup cars to 120 laps. So, I mean, 5 cautions over the span of 120 laps really wouldn't be too bad. So I think that we might just see that happy medium, because we saw these guys racing pretty conservatively and pretty respectful last week at Daytona.
Yeah, you definitely have. And again, the level of drivers in this league, I know a lot of these guys over from other leagues that we've covered. One of those out on the track and now, Bronson Stafford, an A-class. Just about everybody in here is A-class on iRacing, of course. You know, licensing a little different than most racing games, simulators you see out there. I compare iRacing kind of the Gran Turismo. For anyone that ever played that back in the day, you had to earn a license to unlock different cars, different tracks. That's how iRacing is, and it really does. It makes it competitive and fair for everybody, you know, to be able to actually race against people in their level. That being said, that's not the case for leagues. So there are some drivers out here that come out here and have a chance to dominate.
Yeah, and it's funny how guys put their the guys who put their safety rating on iRacing on a pedestal. Those are the funniest. But even some of the guys who like to throw up their I rating around 3,000. Yeah, you know what? Okay, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that a guy with a lower I rating can't come out with a good setup and win, especially at a place here at Auto Club Speedway. And here in this league, all you got to do is have a 1,500 I rating or above before the season starts, and you're allowed to run in this league. That's really the only entry fee, if you will, that you need for this series. And we saw just some really professional racing, if you will, last week at Daytona, the track that is known for just having the most ridiculous amount of cautions. And so I'm really excited to see what they do at a non-super speedway track, but still a track that incorporates the draft and is also just bad fast.
Yeah, the league racing the great equalizer here on iRacing.com. You always check them out, iRacing.com, to get involved. Right now we have 25 drivers that have actually taken time, as we have those up on the left-hand screen right now. Shane Therian with a 41.275, going to be one of the fastest ones out there. That being said, that does not mean that he's going to pull away. As you can see right there, you have quite a few times his time is actually going to expire, and only 25 of the 31 drivers taking time. So that's going to make it real interesting to see how these guys come from the back, like Matthew Rodriguez, Tyler Blythe, Trevor Blythe, sorry, back there. I believe that's Lanton Joyner back there. These guys didn't take time. How are they going to fare tonight in this race?
In the top 10, only separated by a tenth of a second, but of course this is an extremely long race, 120 laps, so you have time to come from the back, and we might even see some pit strategy go into this race as well.
Yeah, I definitely think we're going to see some pit strategy going on here tonight. While they're getting ready to take to the grid, we'll go ahead and go through your grid for tonight's race. Your top 10 are going to be like so: Shane Therian and Gilberto Gamera. I believe that is correct. We'll have to get a correct pronunciation on that when we can. Raquel Murray and Matt Dyer are going to be your top 4, your front 2 rows, followed by Christian Gomez, Robert Kenny, Tom Bourne, Bronson Stafford, another one of those good drivers, and from Canada, I might add, followed by Star J Mann, Austin Gretorix, Andy McDowell, and Logan Brakey. Going to be your top 12, and we'll let you run through the next 12 here for us.
Inside of row number 7 is the 27 car. Braxton Deweese had a great race last week at Daytona. Trenton Jump on the outside of him. He won the Daytona Clash earlier. On the inside of row 8 is the 22 car of Jacob Hope, and then Jacob Grant will be beside him in a double Jacob row number 8. Jared Matthew will start off in 17th with Tanner Johnson in 18th outside row number 9. Spencer Hardison will start off in 19th and Tyler Tomasi in 20th. Inside row 11, the 25 car of Caleb Smith. Outside of him is the 12 of Dylan Browning. Starting 23rd, the 19 car of Tyler Stooksbury, and Evan Coleman rounds out that top 24.
And going through the rest of the field here, these guys not taking at times. Going to be Calvin Gretorix, Tommy Gossett, Eric Stamp, Mike Teller, Jacob Nacke. That is correct pronunciation. Again, we'll get those clarified. Matthew Rodriguez, Trevor Blythe. I will get that right eventually. I had a problem with it last season. And Latham Joyner going to be your 32nd car, and it doesn't look like Joyner is going to be starting the race. So 31 drivers going to be making the call here. You know, in terms of iRacing, Devin, this is a pretty good field. Again, the max you could have would of course be 43 cars in the field. So to see a 31, 32 car field, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, just look at what's on your screen right now. As we saw down the back straightaway, all those cars coming together. There's a very sizable field here, and we even saw at Daytona they were able to keep it straight for the most part. And so a big field with a lot of talent always brings out some great racing.
It does indeed. And again, we got a lot of assets that we can put up onto the screen. We'll be showing you all of that, makes, models, manufacturers, all of that good stuff here throughout this race. But it's going to be that Evo Controllers number 38 of Shane Therian that's going to take the green flag. And speaking of the green, it is out. And there we go. The green flag actually coming out a little bit before Shane decided to go on the gas. And that is his call, Devin, as he is the race leader.
Into turn 1, they almost already want to go 3 wide here as we have a battle for the 3rd position. Just like we said earlier, middle, inside, outside, everyone gunning for position here early here off turn number 2.
They are indeed. If we zoom in on them here real quickly, you can see that 48 Coca-Cola machine sporting it. And, you know, I see here, too, we got a lot of stars, stripes, and red, white, and blue here for the 4th of July weekend. As we saw some great racing in real life, we're seeing some great racing in the sim world as well. And, you know, I could definitely go for some G Fuel or a nice Coke right now.
And you just gotta love all those paint schemes. Gilberto Gamera in that 94 car looks absolutely gorgeous. Even Man behind him has a pretty good looking paint scheme, although I don't think it's red, white, and blue for America. But yeah, we got some really gorgeous paint schemes here this weekend.
We do indeed, and we got a little bit of a battle going on for the leader. We did, as Markel Murray trying to run down Shane Therian. That is going to be a tough feat. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Murray, one of his, Murphy, I should get that right, one of his first races, I don't recall him last week, but he's got his hands full if he's going to get by Shane Therian. He is one of those that I saw come over from another league, and when they were in that league, you couldn't even get in the league unless you had a 4,000 or 5,000 I rating, and these guys are good. That Sky Motorsports, they are somebody to look at no matter where they are or what they're racing.
Yeah, and Theron in that black and green number 38 at the point in the field right now. He had 4 wins last season in the trucks. Had the most points scored overall. Now Tom Bourne in the 54 car looking to the inside as you see these guys just kind of fly it out and use so much racetrack here at Auto Club. As the 54 looks for a pass here on the 99.
Yeah, and you know, we're looking back there too, Markel Murphy in that number 99 machine. The color on that, I don't know if this was back there in your time. It was my time. I'm dating myself here. But the orangish yellow on there almost looks like the old Kodak car that used to run.
Yeah, I'd say you're just about right there. That blue kind of throws me off a little bit. But yeah, I'd have to say that you're right on point there.
And he does get passed by the 54 of Bourne. Bourne going to try to make his presence known with Dyer. I want to go a little further back in this field here to Bronson Stafford, Trenton Jump, Tanner Johnson, Robert Kinney, even Austin Torix back there. These guys were putting on a little bit of a show just a second ago. They've kind of spread it out now, but there is not a lot of gap between anybody on this field at any given time. Or track, I should say, not field. They could possibly break something out as you look back here to 20th spot. They're still 2 and 3 wide.
Yeah, there's still a lot of guys trying to figure out where they got to be on the racetrack here. And another thing is how it comes down to tires. How much of that right front are you going to be using up here on a long run? You're going to see different cars come to life as this run continues on. We actually started with a pretty long green flag run at Daytona, and I would expect nothing less here to start off at Auto Club. And now we have a battle for the lead here. Tom Bourne taking the point.
It is indeed that G Fuel power in that 54 machine of Bourne right to the front as he is going to get by. Again, that's a Toyota versus a Toyota. So 2 Toyotas in the front followed by a Chevy as we'll go ahead and put that on your screen real quick. There you see how they are running. Toyota, Ford, and then a Chevy, and then a couple more Toyotas. Really, you know, you've probably seen this too, Devin, as we go through the manufacturers here just a little bit. Usually on iRacing, it seems to we see a lot of Chevrolets and some Fords, but there are a lot of Toyotas in this one as well.
Yeah, usually like in real life NASCAR, not very many Toyotas, but yeah, we got a pretty good handful of Toyotas here, and still I think Chevy though probably has the most.
Yeah, they definitely do. Bow tie sitting there, and they have the most, I do believe, but not the most in the top 10 right now. So you have to get all the way down to 17th before you see a big group of them. So we'll see how these guys played out throughout the race, and we'll check back in on that. As right now the 94 of that is Matt Dyer, I do believe he's trying to make something happen there. No, that is sorry, Kamara that is trying to make it happen there, and they are getting a little antsy here earlier than I thought they would. They're starting to make passes, but there's plenty of room on this huge track to make those passes and doing it very cleanly.
A lot of guys making moves, including the 48 of Christian Gomez up to the 2nd position now, possibly looking to find and make a move here on Tom Bourne, but still lots of cars moving through the field. We have an incident here, cars running through the grass.
Yeah, he took that U-Haul 22, that is Jacob Hope, that decides he wants to go the scenic route and take that car through the grass. He manages to keep it on. As we'll take a quick look here. I don't think we're going to get a caution for this. We'll take a look here as he's going down the back stretch. And not sure what happened. If he came down. No, he didn't come down into anybody as he was running with Bronson Stafford. So interesting here. We'll have to just kind of wait and see.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of U-Hauls in my day going off-roading, but just like that, it was not what they were planning on doing at the time. And it's a little mistake there, a little bit too much gas off of turn 4, got to the wall. Doesn't look like too much damage on the right side of that machine, so he'll carry on, but now all the way to the back of the pack after killing that cone off of pit road. Yeah, he kills the cone, and meanwhile, they're going to kill each other up here in the track, at least kill their cars anyway, as they're 3 wide. Again, this is in the top 10 right now, between the 94, the 20, and the 61. These guys are not done by any means. They are just really getting started as we're on lap 9 of 120. We still have a lot of racing left to go here tonight. So you really have to run that fine line of how aggressive are you early and how aggressive are you late. When is go time here for you, Devin? If you are up towards middle front to the front, when do you want to get all the way to the front? I think you got plenty of time right now, especially how pit stops might change everything. I'm kind of looking more at right now as a driver where my tires are at unless I'm one of these top 11, kind of separating from the rest of the field right now, how does the car work in traffic? Because unless you're a guy like Christian Gomez, who took the lead just a couple laps ago, you're probably going to be fighting in the back or in the middle of some sort of pack. So you're finding out how your car is handling right now. There are plenty of pit stop adjustments, and you get ready for that final stretch. Maybe with about 40 to go is when you make sure that you are in position to start moving up through the field. But, you know, looking at this group right here, I think all these guys want to stay up in the top 10.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. They're wanting to stay up front. They want to stay in the top 10. I'm with you. I think I want to stay in top 10, but I'm not going to press anything yet. You know, I want to see what the car will do, what kind of changes I need to make to it early on in this race. We'll see how it goes. Shane Dyer, I know from watching him, he will fight and claw for every position he can when the time is right, and that is the key to a successful racing career. You have to know when it is time to tell people, nope, you're not taking this spot away from me, and when it's time to just say, okay, I'll let you have it. Let me see if I can catch you. And Shane Dyer is doing that right now as he's getting back by Tom Bourne and Christian Gomez.
It takes over second now on the inside the 48, but Gomez is going to have a lot of power here off of turn number 2. And we saw that skill last week at Daytona, almost winning both the stage and the race just by putting himself in the right position when that green and checker flag fell. Stage 1, of course, we do have stage racing, stage 1 and the final stage. Stage 1 will be completed here for playoff points. I think it was 3 playoff points at lap 36, so a guaranteed caution here in 24 laps.
Yeah, and you know, I want to point something out here is we'll see if we can see any of this right now, as it's not bad right now. And I know if you're in VR headset, and a lot of these guys on iRacing are now, you can really see it. And look right here coming into this. Imagine what it's like for these guys from the different view. That sun could be coming right in their eyes, and that can play a factor. You know, they make this sim as good as they can, and that sun coming in your eyes can definitely play a factor into the racing.
And even that right there can be a strategy. That's part of the reason, well, a small part of the reason why I happen to run my graphics somewhat low, is because sometimes you don't happen to get that glare coming at you from the sun, or you don't get the sparks coming off the rear end of the car in front of you. So another virtual strategy that you can try to make is Theory now looks to the outside of Christian Gomez.
Yeah, you know, that is one thing we'll maybe see in the future here is like they do in real NASCAR. They'll put those that visor tear off on there that is tinted. That'd be something maybe we could get in the future here on iRacing, as they do an amazing job as it is. But like you said, Varian taking it down to the bottom. He's going to run all the way right to the white line, almost getting below it there as he gets there, and he will take it. As it looks like Gomez is actually going to lose 2 spots. Tom Bourne's going to say, I'll just take a little sneaky peek there and follow you in.
Yeah, Gomez had a big push off of turn number 4, and he's going to pay for it here. Even Braxton DeWeese now moving into third in that neon yellow 27. He's trekked his way up through the field, but now everyone trying to catch back up to a 4-time winner last year, Shane Theory, back out front.
Yeah, he is. Bronson Stafford going to get by as well. You know, you don't really see the freight train here. We haven't seen it yet anyway, but that was about as close to the Daytona freight train as you're going to see when getting left out to dry. He went up a little too high and had to check up just a little bit and lost, again, 4 spots over it. As he'll have to fight back, as now Shane Theory, Bronson Stafford in the 61 going to try to get by Braxton DeWeese here. We'll see if he can make that pass, but right at the moment, not quite being able to make it happen.
Yeah, DeWeese started 13th. He's already moved up 10 spots in this race early on. How about another guy, Andy McDowell, started this race in 11th outside the top 10, and he's moved his way into the 6th position now as he continues to move through the field too. And I'm almost a little worried about the 48 machine if Christian Gomez really starting to slide back and cannot really stop anyone from just getting under him and trying to rail as we have contact into 3.
And what a save. That has got to be a save of the race right there. Let's see if we can, it didn't even trigger a incident of any kind here for the replay. But what a save. You know, you talk about those just amazing saves, and to do that, he saves it as good as he did, and then turn around and go in 3 wide again.
And that's a really tight 3 wide on this really wide track. Almost gets into the car on the inside of him, of Matt Dyer, but goodness gracious, McDowell there, that almost looked like it was going to be the end of his race. There's no fast repairs here. It's got a little bit of extra air on that left rear quarter panel, but able to save it and keep that 20 car pointing straight.
Yeah, that just an amazing save right there from Andy McDowell. He's still not done. He's still going to go, and makes you wonder if he might have scuffed those flat tires or tires just a little bit trying to do so, but it's not seeming to hurt him at all as we go back up to the front. It's still Shane Darian out front, but Tom Bourne not giving it up in that 54 G Fuel machine is Braxton DeWeese trying to make something happen as well. While this is going on, though, Devin, I want to go back here. This is way back in the field, back in 20th spots. Is Tom Bourne having some connection issues, possibly? Yes, he is having some connection issues and falling down, but they're still trading spots back here in the back of this field, even around 20th spot. So, you know, the racing's good up front, but the racing's good, just as good, towards the back of this field as well.
And Tyler Stooksbury has a good seat right now. Spencer Hardson in the 8 car is trying to find a way around the 97 and Mike Teller. Yeah, personally, I'm a pretty conservative racer when it comes to these long races. And usually the point of that, you know, is you want to be able to, I don't know, hang out a little bit in the back and relax, kind of see how the car is doing. But, yeah, that's not really something you do right now in the back of this pack.
Yeah, definitely not. Getting word it's a fixed setup, not open. I was not sure either myself. But so there you go. The fans out there letting us know they're always good for information. You know, I read the social media posts, stuff like that. And, you know, it's one of those things, I don't know, have you ever seen the movie Men in Black? How they read the tabloids for their information. That's kind of, I see chat, you're like, we're reading that, and, you know, some of the time it's real information and good to have.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I was saying that last week at Daytona, they were on open setup, but I am wrong there. So a fixed setup on a wide track like this does make it interesting. I'm sure it's not the iRacing default. No one likes the iRacing default fixed setups, but yeah, a little bit of that. They've had a lot of practice. I think they've had about, I want to say about 6 hours of private practice sessions. So these guys have had plenty of time on the track, but now it's race time. That changes everything. And of course, how the sun's going down right now, this track will cool down quite a bit between now and 100 laps from now when this race comes to a close.
It definitely will, as we'll check the weather right there. 81 degrees for the track temp, 77 for the air temperature, 56% humidity with partly cloudy. Again, the in-sim date time is May 15th, 2020. Again, we're not that bad. We know it's not May, but May 15th, 2020, the in-sim time as to what the temperature and weather would be like if they were here. And Devin, not much wind, only 2 miles per hour.
Not all, but hey, how about up front? Change for the lead, the 27 car of Braxton DeWeese got around Therian, but that 38 car is right up on the rear bumper of DeWeese.
And DeWeese putting on a good show, and he's got a lot of fans out there in chat as well, cheering him on, and I'm sure they are jumping for joy right now. Again, we're good. We're proud of him. He did a good job, but now he's got to maintain that lead, and that is the overall hard task to do, as they're getting a little restless back here with Robert Kinney. But we'll see how many laps he can lead. Again, you lead that lap, you get the bonus point. He's got that. Now he just needs to win the overall race, and winning that stage, it sounds so small. It's just a little stage, but it's very crucial in the overall standings.
And of course, it's playoff points. Once we get to the playoffs on September 27th, or excuse me, September 6th at New Hampshire, playoff points mean so much through the 2 rounds before that championship 4 race at Phoenix Raceway. So, I mean, that's something that you take through with you all playoffs long. You just have to hold on here for about another 13 laps to grab 3 playoff points.
Yeah, no, we didn't get a chance to sit down and talk to them on fuel strategy. How many laps they're going to get on fuel? I would imagine they're going to be able to make it to the stage on the fuel. We'll see if we start seeing several drivers come in. That may be the case. And some of these drivers, I've talked to them when we've watched them from last season going into this season. If they know they don't have a chance to win the stage and they want to lead a lap or two, they will come in 2 laps or 3 laps before the stage end. I believe 2 laps prior to the stage end. Pit road is closed, so they'll come in, 3 to 4 laps before the stage and get that fuel soaked tires, so they don't have to do that when the stage caution actually comes out.
Man, Therian is just running his nose all up in the bumper of DeWeese. I'm surprised that 27 car hasn't gotten loose in the middle of the corners. Therian now dives into the inside, gets the slide job to go, but DeWeese is going to try to cross him over here off of 4.
And DeWee's going to go back to the bottom. He's going to make it happen, I do believe. And you see 2 distinct lines being run. DeWee's running all the way below the apron, which is perfectly fine there. You can do it at this track to a white line, and then you have Therian running all the way at the very top. So again, 2 very distinct lines being run, and right now it looks like the bottom's working for DeWeese just a little bit better.
Therian gets a run though off of turn 2, coming around the outside. The 38 car trying to get back to the lead. He wants to lead that stage. He was oh so close at Daytona, and now they're trying to battle DeWeese here for the stage win here. The stage will end at lap number 36, but DeWeese, I tell you what, that 27 car is bad fast right now. Came from 13th, battling for the lead, and this top 2 group is kind of separating themselves from the rest of the field. Christian Gomez trying his best in that red 48 to keep that Coca-Cola machine up with these 2.
Yeah, he definitely is. Again, kind of a comeback here for that 48 Coca-Cola machine of Gomez, as he slid back about all the way to 6th or 7th. He's worked his way back up past these guys of Man, Jump, Stafford. Kenny hasn't quite got up there just yet. He is trying to work his way to the front in that number 34 Astro Gaming Sim Speed Shop Toyota Camry. But we'll see also another red, white, and blue paint job. And I know for a fact, Devin, that car is painted for the 4th of July weekend, because the typical colors you see on the hood are red and blue, but there's a lot more white on this car, and the S's on the side are the red instead of blue.
Absolutely love the red, white, and blue. Your Daytona 500K winner last week brought home 5 playoff points, even brought home an iRacing money pot. I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm going for there, but got some prize money is what I'm trying to say there. It was a big win for him. He was just about speechless in the post-race interview when we were chatting with him, but hey, winning you're in, so he is guaranteed in the playoffs. He talked about what a relief that is to be able to have that in the season, be able to try to run the rest of these races and get ready for those playoffs and try to get that car as good as possible to make it to the championship for Phoenix.
Yeah, you definitely want all the points you can, and obviously if you don't have all the tracks, I'm sure he does. It was $125 he took home. And I didn't know about it prior to going into it, but we were sworn to secrecy that they would get rid of us and we would not be found if we told in advance. So we did not tell. But right now, Shane Therian takes the lead back. As I told you, Shane will be somebody that is going to give that 27 of DeWeese a run for his money. And he did it. He got back by him. But again, I'm not going to count anybody out just yet. As we got a good battle going on there. You got a good battle a little bit further back there with the 97 of Mike Tellier. They're going to go 3 wide right now for 14th position.
Yeah, Austin Gretorix in that white and red 13 car right now on the inside. Tellier running that throwback Red Bull Racing paint scheme from, I want to say back in the day because they were gone so quickly, but just about a decade or so ago when Red Bull Racing made their NASCAR debut, but still trying to keep Evan Coleman behind him as well in that 9 car sporting the yellow and white tonight. Coleman had a great run at Daytona last week, but right now still struggling to keep himself in the top 15.
Yeah, that was back in the Brian Vickers day, I believe, is who drove that car.
Yeah.
And it looks like his racing career, Red Bull kind of disappeared. But right now, Christian Gomez is going to get around Braxton DeWeese. So now Braxton is sliding backwards on the track. Is it a trend here? Are we going to see this, Devin? You get to the front, you lead some laps, you end up falling backwards, and then you come back to the front. We've seen it with the 38. We saw it with the 48. Now we've seen it a little bit with the 27. They get up there, lead some laps, and then they end up falling back a little bit.
Yeah, but Therian has, I think, potentially the largest lead that we've seen so far tonight, and Gomez's car seems to be waking up a little bit. He's only got about 4 more laps to get out front and get those stage points. Another car that's waking up is just behind them in 5th, Trenton Jump in the Bud Light number 46 machine. Right now, though, can't get around Mand in the 49, but still, Jump also a guy who's been coming through the field. He started 14th and now trying to work his way up, although just lost the 4th position.
Yeah, we'll see if he can hang on and to it. And, you know, looking here to see where people have gained some spots. We'll pull that up real quick for you. There you go. 10 spots for Deweese as the caution is going to come out, and this is not for the stage caution. We'll get rid of that and go take a look and see what the caution is for. And it looks like it's going to be Robert Penny in the number 34. Him and the 20 get together. And I'm not sure, but I believe those were the two that got together earlier when the 20 almost went around.
I think it was Tellier might have got into McDowell. I think it was someone else, so hopefully not some ongoing issues between these two, but Andy McDowell and another close call there. I don't think he got too much damage here. Looks like maybe a little bit of trying to side draft there by Kenny, and it goes just extremely awry, and he's going to get some damage here on the right front.
Yeah, and looking back there, we'll take one more look at it. Again, even if those two were the two involved before, you see right there, it looks like the 34 just came up a little bit. Like you said, probably getting a little side draft. If it had been possible on the track retaliation, I would have seen that the reverse roll. The 20 was the one that got nearly spun out, so it wasn't the 34. So I don't think it was any of that. I'm with you. Just a little side drafting gone wrong. As you can see, the 34 is definitely going to be hurting after that. But meanwhile, pit road is open and everybody's coming down.
And this might shake things up. Will someone take the risk of taking 2 tires? You got to imagine that they tried to do some runs earlier in the week to see what tires would do to these cars, and it could be a huge shakeup here when it comes to your stage winner only a couple laps away.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting here as we'll pull it up real time here. As we'll see right there, we can see their actual pit stops in live time. We'll see if anybody is going to opt for 2 tires. What's your call, Devin? 2 tires, 4 tires? What are you going to take?
I think 4 tires are just going to reign supreme right now. I am a little surprised. I thought that someone might take that risk and get some extra points or something, but obviously these guys know more than I do with all the practice that they've been putting in this week in the simulator. So they probably know that 2 tires is just not the way to go. But hey, a 2-wide restart. If Christian Gomez's car can wake up, Therian wasn't that strong on the green flag. We'll see who has short run speed here in this race.
Yeah, and there, see, 15 seconds, roughly the average there. Nobody going for anything less, as we'll bring the gap back up as we're under caution for the first time. And we'll step away, take a quick break, and we come back. We will resume racing here at Auto Club Speedway.
ETE Reman is the world's best remanufacturer of transmissions for import and domestic cars and trucks. Based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our customers are repair shops, auto parts stores, dealerships, and distributors. And with 6 nationwide warehouses, we're where and when you need us. So when you're looking for a transmission that is like new, only better, instill confidence and install ETE Reman.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here for the restart here for caution number 1. And looks like McDowell and Kenny getting together on the track in a racing incident. But the lights are off on the pace car, Devin, which means one thing and one thing only. That means we are taking the green flag this time by. And it looks like, because we saw the 38 get out first, he is opting to take the high side here for the restart.
Yeah, Therian will be in the outside lane here for the restart. Christian Gomez on the inside of him in second. Trenton Jump in third. And then Bronson Stafford will be on the outside of row 2. So watch out for that as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch for. We're just about a few moments away, and there it is. Pace car dives off where he rightfully belongs. It looks like Coleman going to have some connection issues. Green flag is out, and we are racing. And it looks like the 48 of Gomez may have got caught sleeping as Bronson Stafford gets by him on the outside. Then again, those two on the outside of Stafford and Therian are teammates. I'm very well sure they probably timed that start together.
Yeah, they do have team communication, so they might have been saying to each other, okay, go now. And so that puts the 48 car at a disadvantage. And now stuck on the inside as well. That's Robert Kenny, who's just involved in that collision, had damage on the right front. He moves into third place now.
And he is also another teammate of that Sky Motorsports. So right now, you have Sky Motorsports in first, second, and fourth. So that could very well get interesting to see if they're going to try to set themselves up for a 1-2-3 here for the stage.
2 by 2, 2 rows deep. This is the start of lap number 36, and they were neck and neck at the line as Stafford is now poking a nose ahead here on the outside, and also Kenny getting a great run as well, leaving Christian Gomez behind.
Yeah, he definitely is, and these guys are going to battle to the bitter end for the stage win. They may be teammates, but that means nothing. And you want to point out here is that you talk about battling side by side and 3 wide. This track is not very smooth. You could see it while they were coming down that back stretch, just how bumpy this track really is.
Green checkered flag's gonna fly. They're neck and neck. It's a photo finish there at the line, but it looks like Bronson Stafford will steal away the stage win from Shane Therian. How about that finish for the stage?
What a finish indeed.
By 1/1000th of a second. Wow.
And it makes you wonder too, if that's how the stage ends, how is the race going to play out, and how is the actual race going to end? Because these guys will battle just like that, whether it is lap 20, lap 36, or lap 120. So I'm definitely looking to see that. And will anybody come down and take tires again here for the stage caution? I don't know. I don't think I would.
I don't know, because we'll see how important tires are. I'm really not sure, because if you pit, I mean, it's the same thing. If you're in the front, everyone behind you is going to do whatever you don't. So if you're the leader, basically everyone else behind you is going to come in. If you go in, you know, who knows, 20, 25 cars might stay out and you lose all of your track position here. So I think it's an easier decision if you're deeper in the field. But this top 3 right now, these teammates got to get together, and they all got to do the same thing here so they don't leave anyone stranded here on pit road.
They definitely do. I really think if the leader comes down, like you said, everyone else is going to pretty much stay out. If he stays out, everyone's going to come in, or at least a few will. Somebody's going to come down. The question is who is going to be that first taker. If it's me, I'm staying out. It's a good question. I think if anybody's going to come down, though, Devin, it's going to be from about 10th place on. So Gamora down here, Rhetoric, Stamp, Tomasi, and then again, I could be totally wrong, as your top 3 come in.
And there we go. Gomez will stay out on the track, as well as about maybe 2 or 3 more. So I'm not sure about that. I was thinking more guys would stay out, and I think Christian Gomez was thinking the same. And so, boy, I don't know if that's going to be enough cars to really equal these tires back out once we get back on the track, because as you mentioned, this is a very rough track. It loves to eat up rubber.
Yeah, and it's going to eat them up alive. So right now, as we stand, pit stops are underway, but Gomez, Brakey, Hope, Duvall, and Gossett did not come down pit road. And some of these guys, you know, I think you're hoping they can lead some laps. Gomez has been up front. Logan Brakey, he's been up front as well. Hope trying to get up there and lead some laps. McDowell has been up front this race as well. Tommy Gossett, first time we mentioned him other than the grid. So he is definitely 21 spots up. He's trying to get up there and see what he can't do to lead some laps. and play a strategy here, because that car is just not handling the way he wants. And Meyer back in the field again would have been in around 26th spot, which means he did not qualify.
Yeah, and so I think that's a good risk being played there. Got a gorgeous red, white, and blue paint scheme, but yeah, I think that's a good risk to make. Why not? You're moving yourself up about 20 positions. I don't really see him falling back outside the top 20, you know, just by having old tires on a stint of about 5 laps. So I think that's probably a good move. Maybe be able to keep him in the top 10 here before we get to our next caution, or at the very least until these tires really start to even back out again.
Yeah, and one thing we typically, you know, Devin, we worry about is tire spin on the restarts with the older tires versus newer. But this case, as the lights are up, I'm not too worried about that. Just because, you know, it was only like 4 or 5 laps ago that they were in. Granted, this track does like to chew up tires, so it's going to be a fine line of how much tire wear did they get in those, you know, 5-6 laps under green. Versus, you know, how those new tires are going to react. So, you know, right now I think it's a toss-up.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, and I think that's what a few drivers are thinking right now. And if you are a guy who's standing behind those top 5 or top 6 who did not pit, like Shane Theron or Bronson Stafford, you're already trying to figure out, okay, where do I need to move right now to utilize these fresh tires? Because not too many laps here to really make them be a huge gain for yourself. So right now you need to strategize and see, what do I need to do to get these tires to pay off the most against this top 5 who did not pit.
Yeah, definitely. Strategy is underway here for this race. I knew we would have some strategy. I didn't know when all it would really kind of start to emerge and we would clearly see it, but we're already seeing it here. 40 laps into this race, as we currently have, if my math is correct, 80 laps to go for the second half of this race. I believe that's correct. Napkin math, not always good. Math, yeah, it wasn't either good either, but still, napkin math is worse. But the green flag is out, and we are racing once again. This time it's going to be Gomez out front, followed by Brakey, Hope, Dyer, and Jump. Going to be your top 5, and they are too wide all the way back here on the restart. And it looks like Tommy Gossett having some major issues there connection-wise, as we'll see if he gets that sorted out. But meanwhile, Trent Jump's going to get by him, but then he's going to get back passed once again by Gossett.
So far, Gossett's strategy working out. Doesn't get past early here in turns 1 and 2. His Jump cuts off the nose and moves to the inside, trying to move past Andy McDowell. Side by side through 3 and 4, and watch out because Shane Theron is coming as well here on the outside. Yeah,
Shane, they're in one of the first drivers to, was the first driver to take tires under that last stop. And these guys are falling a little bit. The first one that didn't take tires actually under the stage caution, but did the actual caution before, is Andy McDowell. He is falling back a few spots, but still not hanging in there, not just being hanging out left to dry. These guys that didn't take tires are still 1, 2, and 3 at the moment, but that's trying to change as Trent Jump is trying to get in there. And he actually didn't take tires either, but he is showing 2 pit stops.
Yeah, there's a difference here. Andy McDowell coming around this time. Boy, about almost half a second off the pace this lap alone. But meanwhile, you look at Trenton Jump, who's gaining on the leaders right now, currently sitting in 3rd, trying to find his way to catch up to Brakely and holding off Jacob Hope and Tommy Gossett right behind him.
Yeah, it's turning into a good battle up front. We'll keep an eye on that, as really the whole field's got some good battles going on. If you go back a little further here to the top 15, you've got some battles going on as well. Eric Stamp, Jared Matthew, Evan Coleman, Caleb Smith, Matt Dyer, all these guys putting on a good show back here as well. And again, we're having to cycle through because there's battles just all over this track right now, Devin.
Yeah, and this is a part of the track where, or part of the race, I should say, where you have a couple pit stops in. A lot of these guys towards the back have probably made a number of adjustments, and so you're kind of feeling out your car again but still, it's not any fun to be back towards that top 20 or outside the top 20. And these guys, almost like a hornet's nest, as they go 3 wide into turn number 3.
Yeah, and you know, contrary to you know, some people may know about iRacing, even with fixed setups, you can make adjustments to these cars. So it's limited, but there are little things you can make to the car. Not to mention, if you start running a different line compared to where you were, you're out in clean air versus dirty air. A lot of things, even with a fixed setup, can change the way these cars handle.
Yeah, and I thought at the start of this it was an open setup, and I gotta applaud this fixed setup because, man, usually when there's a fixed setup, it's usually set up for one line, but these guys are running all across these corners. There's so much track to use, and they're able to use so much of it. But right now, Logan Brakely on the inside moves around Christian Gomez. Trenton Jump follows. New leader, the 29, but here comes Jump on the inside the tribal, 3 wide at the line.
Yeah, there for a minute I thought we were going to have a battle between the beverages over here. As you look there, minus the Sportsnet of braking, that 29 machine. Ooh, and we got contact there. And Gossett got into the 48 of Gomez, but you have Coca-Cola, G Fuel, and Bud Light, all 3 in the top right now. So pick your choice of beverage, as we got major contact going on.
Trying to block there, might keep it off the wall. No, that's going to be substantial rear end damage there for the 29 car. That is really painful there for Brakely, who just led that last lap. It looked like just some really aggressive blocking there, and not a lot of give here early on, and that's going to put him in the back as we stay green.
Yeah, no caution. Like we mentioned earlier, this track, it has a lot of racing surface, but it also has a lot of runoff too, where you can do stuff like that. As we'll zoom out here, look at all of that area below the racing surface. That's why there was no caution. You could nearly fit another track inside the runoff here. It's just that wide. Of course, not a full track, you know, the actual straightaway there. It is so wide that you're rarely going to get cautions back there.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Brakely, not enough room for him, quite enough, but moves all the way back to 30th, the final car on the lead lap, and now all he can do is try to run this track out. Hope he gets a caution and get in there and try to fix some of that rear end damage. I think that's going to be just a lot of danger there on that rear end. It's going to hurt him aerodynamically moving forward.
Yeah, it's definitely going to hurt him going forward. It's unfortunate for him, because obviously he was on those little bit older tires, but he had a solid run going on, but unfortunately not going to end the way he wanted. But look who's back in second place. That is Shane Therry and Bronson Stafford right behind him. Those two making their way up to Trenton Jump to see if they can potentially make something happen for the lead once again. And we'll just have to wait. I have a feeling they're going to get him, as there's the battle for the lead now.
Theory into the inside, trying to get around that number 46 Bud Light machine. He has that preferred lane on the inside, is going to clear him off of turn 2. New leader, the 38, but look out, here comes Bronson Stafford on the inside trying to follow along.
Yeah, and I find it very surprising, Devin, that you notice the 61 and the 38 both made their passes on the bottom of the 46. However, when the restart came out for the 38 of Shane Therry, and he opted to take the high side on that top lane for the restart. However, the bottom is where you're passing. Now we know probably for sure that was a strategic call to get his teammate to second place as well, because there was no other reason to take that top side.
Well, it could be. I think that you can get a good amount of momentum. If you get a good enough jump there, you're still not up to speed going into 1. And so I think that could be a beneficial going into turn 1, having that outside lane, a little bit of extra track to help you get up to speed, and then you can cut down and get back to that white line. So I don't know. We'll see if we have some more restarts, if that might change on who wants to start where on the restarts. But you did see Logan Brakely getting passed on the front straightaway last time by. He has went 1 lap down with that substantial damage on the rear end.
Yeah, and he is one of the only cars a lap down. I'm not sure as the caution did not come out, but Tommy Gossett, who stayed out to try to get some good track position, he is now being scored 1 lap down out of this race. after gaining 22 positions under that stage caution. So not sure what happened to Gossett, but he is done here tonight.
Yeah, that is strange because that strategy I was about to comment on and say it has been working so far for Tommy Gossett. But yeah, apparently his race looks like it's come to a close now.
Yeah, no, we'll see. Maybe we can find out what happened. But again, for all intents and purposes, there was no triggered caution, no off-track incident, nothing. So, you know, the best we can figure is, you know, a connection issue would have caused it. It's the only thing that would just drop you like that. So, unfortunate for him. I want to talk a little bit more about Braxton Luis here, as he's still fighting right now in 6th position, 7 spots to the good, as Shane Therian and Bronson Stafford still battling side by side for the lead.
Yeah, this battle up front is heating up as we have more cars starting to catch up to everyone here. They continue to fight inside and outside. That outside lane still has plenty of momentum here, but still the inside line, the short way around, you're just not scrubbing off enough speed for that outside to just drive right by. Stafford still trying to make it work, though, in that red and white number 61.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to make it work, as we'll see if he's able to do it. Though, again, those two are going to be side by side. Right now, the 46 of Trenton Jump, hoping they make a mistake, collect each other, and he's able to squeeze by. As those two are going to be very hard to beat. 1, they're fast, and 2, they're teammates, so you know they're going to race each other clean. They're not going to wreck each other intentionally, or probably not even on accident, but accidents can happen. So that's what the 46 is hoping right now, because as fast as Trenton Jump is, I don't know if he has anything for that 38 or the 61 right now.
And right now, running side by side, you would almost think that Jump would be able to catch up to them a little bit more, but that outside lane has just enough speed where Jump in that 46 and Gomera in the 94 just can't close in enough to make any moves for second. Also, an update on Tommy Gossett. Went back and looked, and literally in turn number 4 just disappear and then manually disconnected. But I think that from him, I think everyone realized that if you have bad track position late, and you only have maybe 5 laps on those tires, we might be seeing two tire and no tire stops later on in this race, because he proved you can make it work.
Yeah, he definitely did. And you know, we saw earlier at the very beginning of the race when we were going through the grid and they were pacing around the track for the original start, Tommy Gossett did pull it down to the apron and was having some connection issues then. So no surprise there that he's having issues now, or had issues. They're no longer a concern in the race. Unfortunately for him, he definitely needs to get that settled out and fixed as quickly as possible here for the season. But still, this battle going on right here. This is one battle with Deweese and Gomera back there, and then you go a little further back as you got some more cars with connection issues. That's the 97, but that's a nice little battle going on there as well when he's not blinking out.
Yeah, you see right behind him, Eric Stamp right now running in the 10th position, trying to move his way up through the field. We saw him earlier in this run, back almost in 20th, but he still has Stooksbury on the outside in that black and green number 19 machine, trying to hunt him down. But how about that red car behind him? Christian Gomez, one of the drivers who did not pit, he has backed up all the way to the 12th position, and he might be losing more to Jacob Grant and Spencer Hartson not too far behind.
Yeah, he is. Again, 7 spots is what he's lost since the restart or since the start of the race. So unfortunate for Gomez. He definitely wants to get back to the front here on this 4th of July weekend, kind of special event. Not really, it's a regular scheduled event, but still kind of a special event here on again, it is the 5th of the 4th of July weekend, as the battle up front still battling on, and an odd battle, the 94 and the 49. Just reverse the number, and that's who you got battling right now between, again, the 94 and 49 for 4th position.
Yeah, that's always fun. I love when the numbers get to match a little bit, but I think that they would be far more happier to be battling either 49 and 27 or 94 and 27, because Braxton Deweese is starting to move away from them, but your leader, Shane Therian, and Bronson Stafford is just checking out from the field right now, and they're still side by side.
Yeah, it really is amazing. It shows you just how good and how fast these two are, that they can run side by side for as long as they have. And the fact that Deweese, man, Gamera, Kenny, none of these guys have been able to reel them in. And they're not done. I thought that for a second, maybe the 38 of Therian was going to settle it down and be like, no, let's run single file. No, he just getting a little run built up. He's going to actually go by the 61 of Stafford. So they're single-handedly putting on a good little show here at the front for him.
Deweese is trying to reel him in. He's kind of getting a little bit of a gain here on him. We'll see if he can catch a draft down the back straightaway. The only car right now who's really able to keep up, man behind him has gapped Gomera a little bit, but still not really close enough in the vicinity as Deweese has caught up to your front two.
He has indeed, and sit here, take a quick look and see, as I see somebody going into the pit stop is going to be Matthew Rodriguez. Don't think it's a scheduled stop. I don't think we'll see other people coming in right about now, but to go to the gearbox cam here, and see, this is looking on the back of Shane Therian, and you can see Bronson Stafford, but you can see Braxton Deweese back there just a little bit. You'll see him get a peek here in just a minute, and it shows you how close, like you were talking about, how close he has closed in that gap to the rest right there, and losing a little bit of ground, but still hanging in with the top two.
But Therian is definitely not a guy to be driving in the rearview mirror, even when he's battling with Bronson Stafford side by side like they were. He's a guy who likes to keep it out the front windshield, doesn't really drive out that rearview mirror, and it just kind of comes with how much speed he has in that 38 Toyota build. These two Toyotas laying up front, the 38 and the 61, Braxton Deweese in a Chevrolet, still trying to make up that ground. The top three have a little bit of a gap until you have Mann, Gomera, Kenny Stamp, Johnson Jump, and Stooksbury, your top 10.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. You know, you talk about it, bring it back up one more time here. The manufacturers of this race really being dominated in the top 5 by Toyota. A couple of Chevys in there as well, but Ford definitely, as they run right now, is not first on race day.
No, I mean, look at Toyota. They have 5 of the top 6. They had 7, I thought, originally there in the top 10, but still, just a lot of Toyotas running up front, a good pack of them in the top 10. Only a couple blue ovals and a couple bow ties making up the top 10.
Yeah, what does it say? If you can't highlight the problem, circle it. But either way, Ford and Chevy, you know, kind of struggling here tonight in this race compared to the Toyotas, as they are putting on a good little show for everybody. We'll see, as we still have some connection issues back there for the 97 and Mike Tillier. So we'll see how that one plays out for him. But we're going to jump back to this battle. Look at these guys there. You see the connection issue. We can't stay connected to him. But even during that, they're still going 2 and 3 wide back here for about 10th, 11th, and 12th position.
Christian Gomez way sideways, got contact from Harden. I think he was able to save that.
He was indeed. He was able to save it. That is the second big save we have seen here tonight. You know, you mentioned it at Daytona. It was a fairly clean race, and they're doing that again here tonight. We're on lap 63. We've only been racing for less than an hour thus far. So they're doing a fantastic job. These guys must know that I got some brisket smoking, and they want to let me go early tonight.
Yeah, we are already past the halfway point of this 120-lap event at Auto Club Speedway. These guys, they've been battling hard, and again, gosh, you see Andy McDowell in the 20 car. I'm sure he saw that 48 get sideways, and he's like, not again, man. I'm sick of these guys touching each other again sideways. I just want to run a race, dang it.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. We'll see. You go a little further up, and you got the 19, who we talked about again, that's Tyler Stooksbury, trying to get that Spotify number 19 machine by the 46. So we'll see. Almost a little contact there. And actually, that's what I was looking by. He's trying to get by the 46. I thought we had a battle going on, but that 46 obviously is not in the battle right now. He is actually lapped down
right now in 10th.
Yeah, so that is not the battle between the one I thought it was. I thought it was between Tanner Johnson, but Tanner Johnson actually a little ways ahead of these guys. So still a good battle, just not the battle I thought it was. It's for 10th and not for 8th.
And Trenton Jump has moved back a little bit, way sideways. The 55 of Jacob Grant. Ooh, and a little bit of contact there behind him as well as he's flying through the grass, mowing the lawn.
He is. There we go. Now we'll get to him. And he is hanging on to it. He's going to have to slow it way down. And there you go. Well, your spotter's telling you to let out the gas and hold on to it. And what do? You just do it.
A phenomenal run last week at Daytona for that 55 team. A very emotional day for them. And tough break there again. Loose out the corner. Battle for the lead now up front. Shane Therian under attack from Braxton DeWeese. And how about this? Joining the party, Mann has moved up, and he's in this group of 4.
Yeah, Mann trying to do everything in his power to get in there, and he is there now. And, well, there goes the 61 having some connection issues here tonight. We've seen several drivers that have been plagued by connection issues here tonight. So let's hope it's not an iRacing deal and it's an individual deal. But when you start seeing 4, 5, 6 drivers with issues, you start wondering, is it a server issue versus an individual? I don't think that's the case here tonight. As only about 2 or 3 have been affected, but we'll see as that one plays itself out. But DeWeese to second now, as he's going to try to make a run on Shane Therian here in the next probably couple of laps.
Yeah, still on the rear bumper, and going back to those connection issues, not something that you see in real life racing, but it is so scary on iRacing when you're racing tight with someone and they just disappear. You don't know where that car is necessarily going to come back on the track at, and you just want to make sure that you don't make contact with them. You don't want someone else's problem to ruin your race. So just something very scary as a driver, and you see those cars flash in front of you and you don't know exactly where they're going to come back on track.
Yeah, and a lot of these leagues, including this one, do have rules in place for that. If you start blinking too much, they will ask you, park it in the pits, get it sorted out. And if you can't get it sorted out in the pits, they will tell you to park it for the day and your night is done. It's unfortunate that it does happen. It obviously doesn't happen in, real life. To me, it's kind of similar to if you were to go to a racetrack in real life and you see a part hanging off of a car or whatever. They're going to give you a chance to pull it into the hot kit or in the infield quickly and get it off. And if you can't, you're done for the day. It's equivalent to that in a sense, but it is unfortunate when it does happen.
Exactly. Now going into turn 1, Braxton DeWeese to the inside, trying to make a move for the lead here on Shane Therian. Has that preferred inside lane, gonna clear him here off the 2, but can he hold off that burst of momentum from the 38 down the back straightaway?
And it looks like he does. So, I said earlier I thought Shane Therian and Bronson Stafford were the guys to beat. I may have to backtrack there and insert foot in mouth, because Braxton DeWeese in that 27, he has something for that 38 machine as he gets by him, and gets by him by about a car length and a half too. It was not a quick cutoff pass. It was a clean pass by several car lengths.
Yeah, powered down off of 4 on the inside lane, and you usually don't see a car get that much momentum off the inside compared to a car running that far on the outside of a corner. But still, DeWeese now making room behind him as Bronson Stafford goes side by side with teammate Shane Therian for the 2nd position.
Yeah, those two, it doesn't matter where they're at on the track. They're still battling side by side. Robert Kinney, one of their other teammates back there, he's now in 6th position. He's right back where he started. He hasn't gained or lost since the start of the race. Although he has gained some spots, he's right back where he started. So we'll see as that battle's still underway. But look who's sneaking into the picture. Here comes Mann in that 49 machine. He's going to try to get by Bronson Stafford.
Already got by Theory, and now looking to the inside of the 61 here as DeWeese is starting to run away from the rest of this pack. We are now under 50 laps to go here at Auto Club Speedway. The sun has went down, the track has cooled off, the lights are at full power. That 27 car is starting to run away from everyone else here. How about another car to look at? Eric Stamp, we were talking about him in a good battle, I don't know, probably 20 or more laps ago, back in 20th, and he has moved his way inside the top 5 now.
Yeah, this is, this is one of those, I expected to see, 3-4 cautions. We have seen one. We don't count the stage caution, but we've only seen one actual caution so far. And what I want to know is, this is really going to change the aspect or the outcome of this race, how I figured it would go. I figured we would have enough cautions, everybody would come down under caution, take tires and fuel. However, based on what we're seeing so far, that may not be the case. It may be a little bit different, and I'm wondering, when you come in, who's going to be the first to come in, and how many people are going to see monkey do and follow them, and how spread out is this field going to get, and how crucial are them stops going to be to not make mistakes.
And in just a few laps, they're going to be fine on fuel. So this isn't going to come down to fuel mileage, I don't think. It's going to come down to how well you take care of your tires for the end of this race, because if you are someone who goes and takes 2 left side tires or 2 right side tires, excuse me, to keep that the right front fresh, can you keep up with the guy after a really long stint? This is lap number 35 for these guys on this stint of tires, and so can you do something on pit road to move yourself up if we have either green flag or yellow flag stops after so many laps on these tires, because there's no guarantee of a caution from here on out.
Yeah, and there on the screen you can see the L and the number. That indicates the lap 38 is when they were on pit road for just about everybody. You get down there to Gomez, look at that, lap 32 for him, lap 32 for McDowell. These are the guys that didn't pit. That really shows you the difference of laps. We said it was a handful of laps. Well, 32 took 38, 6 laps on those tires. Of course, about 3 of those probably under caution, so about 3 more racing laps is what they actually had. And the first one's going to be Gomez, who's back in, well, now 8th position as he gets by Stooksbury. So Gomez starting to work his way back up. So 6 laps difference, really not all that much, but it is enough that those new tires were able to get by him.
And Gomez is a curious case. Started in the front on that restart, moved way back outside the top 10, and now once again back up into the 8th position. Still, though, has a ton of ground to make up to try to catch up to Gilberto Gamera. So still essentially he ends up losing almost 9 seconds from the leader now. So yeah, I don't know, it's tough to say. Even if we go in and pit here, say in 10 laps, and it's a short stint until caution, I still don't know. Those 4 fresh tires are still looking really good on these cars.
Yeah, they are looking good. We'll see as we talk about them. And these are not damaged cars. This is scheduled stops here. Going to be Tyler Stooksbury coming in, Andy McDowell coming in. 55 of that is Jacob Grant. He's going to be coming in. So these are, in my opinion, I believe scheduled pit stops, because these guys did not have damaged cars.
I think Grant just came in a lap or so ago. He's a lap down, so essentially these other 2 are on their own. McDowell and Stooksbury are on their own here, on their own pit strategy. So we'll see how this pays off for them. Green flag stops here, but this is going to force everyone else's hands. Essentially what they said is, we are good on fuel the rest of the way, so let's go in and get some tires and try to run up to the front as we have more takers on pit road.
Yeah, it's going to be Christian Gomez coming down and Tyler Tomasi coming down as well. Like you said, this is that, figurative rope being tied around everybody's hands right now. Is these guys know they're good on fuel. They're just essentially virtually tying their hands, and so making these guys have to come down soon. And there you see it right there. There's Braxton DeWeese your second place car, he's coming down, as well as a man, he's coming down. So now you're starting to see the leaders come in. The question is, how long can you stay out before you actually start losing versus gaining?
And I'm really amazed we've only had, what, 5 or 6 takers so far? I really anticipated more coming in together, but we've really only had, what, 3 groups of 2? As DeWeese missed his pit stall, has to move back. He's going to lose a good amount of time there on that.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about a little while ago was, you know, it changed the outcome. I figured we would have more cautions and you would have a chance to make a mistake and lose a couple of spots. It wouldn't hurt you as bad. That little bobble on the pit road having to back up, while it didn't seem like it took that long, it is, and it's going to cost him some spots in the overall grand scheme of things. His best bet right now is for us to potentially let him get his lap back, because I believe he did go a lap down. He did, and then see a caution to where he can have his lap back and then, you know, be able to get back into the mix of things.
Well, if we could go on board real quick, I'll show you exactly what missing his stall meant. So he came in about 2 car lengths ahead of Man. That car in front of him is Man. Look at how much time he lost. He came in front of that car in front of him, and now he's about half a corner behind him. That is a huge hole that he's going to have to dig himself out of, especially if Stafford and Therian have good, clean stops.
Yeah, and we'll be seeing those guys come in soon. I'll be willing to bet, as we have Austin Gretorik's going to be coming in now for his spot, as well as Jared Matthew. So it looks like Trevor Blythe's going to come in as well. I'm beginning to think Noah's Ark is going on here. We're seeing 2x2. They are not coming in packs.
I think they need to go. It's time to go. You saw the 27 car just blow by Eric Stamp. He's currently running in 3rd. These cars on fresh tires right now are blowing by other machines as Stamp will make his way onto pit road. But I was looking at the 48 car of Gomez. He just passed 3-4 cars going down the back straightaway. Tires right now are going to make a difference. These guys need to get on pit road now.
And they are doing it. Bronson Stafford on, Eric Stamp, as you mentioned, and Gilberto Gamera going to be on the pit road as well. So, again, it's almost like there's a 2 to 3 car limit on pit road, and they can't handle more than that. As it looks like Bronson Stafford, I thought he was going to slide through, but he slid to a stop. But style there. But very few cars coming in at a time, which is very strange.
And coming in this time, I'm really surprised he did not come in earlier. You can try to sit out and hope that a caution comes in this rotation chaos, but with how fast he was, I was thinking that you just come in and do your pit stop early and he would have the speed later on, but I don't know. We'll see if he lost time here once he comes out and the cycle goes all the way through.
Yeah, now we're setting some records here, Devin. We got Therian, Johnson, Coleman, Jump, Smith, Murphy, Hardinson, and Dyer all on pit road. The biggest group we have actually seen on pit roads thus far here in Green Flag Pit Stops.
It looks like Robert Kenny is the only car to have not come down pit road. He's on lap 44 of this cycle, and he's going to be the last guy to get some 4 fresh Goodyear tires. There's a couple other guys. Matthew Rodriguez pitted in between everyone. Calvin Gretorik's pitted just about 16 laps ago. They're kind of more towards the middle of the field, though. We'll see how this cycles out. And in the middle of the cycle right now, Man is scheduled to take the lead in front of DeWeese, and Bronson Stafford is in 5th. Shane Therian right now is going to cycle out in 6th place. It looks like he might lose a ton of time here pitting so late.
Yeah, it's going to be, again, this is all part of the strategy that, you know, in my opinion, from my way I thought this race was going to go, you can just take that cup of what I thought and just dump it out, throw it out the window. It's no good anymore. It isn't anything like I figured. I figured we would have 3, 4, maybe 5 cautions, and these guys would have plenty of time to get their tires changed, fuel under caution. That is not the case. That is not even remotely. What have we had? 1 caution here, Devin?
1 caution for an actual incident plus the stage caution. So yeah, we've had just ginormous green flag runs.
You know, huge run. And speaking of green, there's that green at 27. More of a, I don't know if I'd call that lime green, or would we go with that like a highlighter green?
Yeah, I'm thinking a highlighter green. I mean, it's Menards. It's the Menards yellow. That's what we call it in NASCAR, right? Because we don't compare it to anything else. That's the only guy who does it.
There you go. Menards yellow it is in the number 27 machine. And I want to point out, just on this last lap, 41.29. That was the fastest lap of this entire race here on lap 85 by Bronson Stafford. So it took us 85 laps to set a new record here for the fastest lap in the race.
Guys think it's go time, coming to 35 to go this time. Let's take a look at your top 5, because it is completely different than when this pit cycle started. Man has taken over the lead. He went in before the cycle started in 3rd place. DeWeese, who was your leader, is now in 2nd. Stafford is kind of in the middle of all this in 3rd, kind of where he was. Gomez moved up 4 or 5 spots into 4th. McDowell's in 5th. And Therian, who has been so strong all night long, in the lead, in 2nd, maybe 3rd at the worst sometimes, is now in 6th place, 5.5 seconds behind your leader.
Yeah, that is the furthest he has been back at all. And, you know, it's not only the furthest he's back, he's negative 5 spots right now from where he started in this overall race. Meanwhile, you mentioned him, we've been talking about him all race long. Braxton DeWeese, 11 spots to the good. I know he's got some fans out there cheering him on. I'm not sure the relation there. I'm not even sure how old Braxton DeWeese is. You know, though, however, you can kind of guess. You know, if people go, they call me Charles, it seems like an older generation name. If I had to guess Braxton DeWeese, as he's taking the lead now, I'm going to guess a younger gentleman. As you know, Braxton just, I don't know, for me, for some reason, seems like a younger person. Maybe I wouldn't say any more older than 20.
I would have to agree with you for the most part there. The 27 machine takes the lead away from Man. But watch out in that rear view mirror as Bronson Stafford has picked his way through the lap cars, and he is right on the rear bumper of Man. And don't take your eyes off of that Coca-Cola machine. The 48 car is in the same camera shot as everyone else now, as Stafford looks to take over 2nd.
Yeah, he definitely is looking to take over that. Then we're reading some social media comments over there to answer the pro. So the way iRacing breaks it down, really you're not considered pro unless you have the black stripe or the world championship tag, and nobody in this race has that. It's a very exclusive club to get into. I believe you got to finish top 20 in a series to get invited to do a chance. Or it's really complicated.
In Road to Pro, yeah.
Yes.
It's complicated and it's difficult, but what we can tell you guys is that everyone in this field except for 3 cars are A-class drivers, which means that their safety rating is very high. So they've been running in the top tier A-class Cup Series more than a few times, I'd have to guess. Is now Bronson Stafford, your new leader after going around Braxton DeWeese, that 61 car. Man, Cody, I think that he just pitted at the optimum time. He waited long enough where his tires are just a little fresher than everyone else is on the track, and he is showing the speed right now as he is now the new leader.
He definitely is. And you talked about the driver he got by again, Braxton DeWeese. We confirmed in chat, we were spot on. 17 years old, the youngster here in the series. That may be one of the youngest drivers we have. I'm not sure on Jacob Hope. He may be a little bit younger. But, you know, it goes to show you whether it's real racing, sim racing, RC racing, bicycle racing. It doesn't matter what kind of racing it is. You can have anybody from 15 years old all the way to 40, 50 years old racing. And if they all race with a lot of skill and a lot of respect for each other out on the track.
Well, I mean, just look at how many green flag laps that we have had. We are under 30 to go now, and we have had this this race almost all the way green flag. So that's been extremely impressive. And the only way you can do that is respectful and talented iRacers.
Yeah, it definitely is. And a great group of guys here. Again, and you keep in mind, there are a lot of factors that, you can say, oh, it was a one caution race and there'd be 10 drivers in the race. That's not all that impressive. You're talking about 32 drivers that came in here, 31 started, and we've only had one caution. Keep that in mind. 31 drivers started, one caution. Now you go to some of these iRacing official races, where stuff's supposed to be clean. And I have witnessed and been told about races that were 100 laps and 75 of it would be under caution.
Disconnected. I'm gone.
Yeah. At that point, you just like, I'm done. I'm washing my hands. And it's nothing against iRacing. It's just people driving over their head, and they don't have any respect for the other drivers. That's not the case here. As you're seeing that 48 right now, Christian Gomez race side by side with Braxton DeWeese, showing a lot of respect there as those two are racing side by side now, bumper to bumper. Meanwhile, it was a man that got by both of them.
Yeah, and this group right here has been running so clean, so respectful, and a lot of entertainment. Unfortunately for them, they are now 2 seconds behind Bronson Stafford. He has checked out from everyone behind him. He just has to hold on and pray that there will not be a caution for the next 26 laps, because right now he is gone.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to man any day in that 49 machine, but we never really actively cheer for a particular driver because that's very professional of us. But I'm cheering for P48 and the 27. I want these two to be in the top three. I want to talk to them about how their day has been. Gomez, he has had a roller coaster of a day. You look, as we'll zoom in there, see if we can get a good shot of that Coca-Cola logo. It goes ups and downs and all around. That has been his day. He has been up and down pretty much all day. Braxton DeWeese hasn't had such the roller coaster of a race, but he has just been right there. I want to know his mindset, knowing that he is racing with some of these guys, that like Starion, who's just ahead of him, who is one of probably the best racers on iRacing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think you're going to be able to talk to either of them afterwards, Cody, because right now, Therian is on absolute rails, picking off both those drivers so quickly. He's already passed Manning, cleared some here off of turn number 4. Shane Therian has just ripped by these 3 cars and now has his eyes set on Bronson Stafford, but has to make up a 3-second gap here with just 24 laps to go.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. It looks like maybe we got a shot here. We might be able to get behind there, get DeWeese, as he's going to try to pass man. He was looking to the inside, couldn't quite make it work. Meanwhile, though, we're coming to the line. We're going to be 4 laps to go to the 100-lap mark, and that'll just put us at 20 laps to go after that. So right now, 25 laps to go in this race here at Auto Club. Again, amazing. I swear these guys know I have some brisket cooking, and I want to be eating it by 7:30.
Yeah, these guys are just running so well right now. We've only seen a couple of drivers get out of sorts, and even then they're able to save the cards as DeWeese moves back into the 3rd position. So they've ran clean, they've ran well, and now Bronson Stafford is just praying that they keep it that way. Shane Therian has not really been able to cut into that lead at all. It's still a 3-second gap here for the 61 car of Bronson Stafford trying to bring home the victory.
Yeah, I want to talk another one. He's not in the top 5. He is in the top 10. That is Andy McDowell in that 20 machine. He's also had a little bit of a roller coaster night here, being involved in an incident earlier. Still, he may not win this race. He may not even be in the top 5, but I think I'm going to give him the best save of the race award for whatever that's worth. But what a save Andy McDowell did earlier in this event. Unfortunately, just hasn't really been able to get into the top 5 and try to battle for the lead. As right now he's battling with, that is not Robert Kinney, who's actually for position, but he does have his hands full with the 28, I believe it is.
Yeah, both these cars are a lap down, so probably just have a little bit fresher tires on there and just kind of just going to let him go by here. Still has quite a large gap, about a second and a half between him and Robert Kinney for that 8th position, trying to bring that car home in the top 10.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to do so. A little further back in this field, not a whole lot going on. About 3/10 separating just about anybody, and that is the closest we have going on. You got up there Jared Matthew in the 51 right now, with the 25 of Caleb Smith, separated by about 0.1. That's probably one of the closest battles on track right now. That is one thing that the green pit stops, the green flag pit stops did, is they kind of separated this field out quite a bit. A caution for a lot of these guys would be a lifesaver. But like you said, as we go to front, Bronson Stafford at 61 does not want to see it.
Yeah, he's even gapped Shane Therian by another 10th as he's battling through another lap car. Trenton Jump, that 46 car, is not on the lead lap. He was in that group a little bit further back. Jump is the first car a lap down in 20th position, but he has not only kept up but caught up to Bronson Stafford. I think the only guy who's been able to do that, but fortunately for Stafford, a car who is currently a lap down, so doesn't really have to worry too much about that 46 car trying to create a little bit of chaos or anything.
Yeah, and again, the 46, I believe, is an admin too, so you know he's going to go out there and be respectful to these guys and do what he has to do. But while it's not for position, I still like to call it the Battle of the Beverages, and I'm going to make a logo out of that here, and we're going to coin that phrase for LSR TV. Anytime we have a multiple drinks racing together, we're just going to call it the Battle of the Beverages, as right now it's G Fuel and Bud Light.
Hey, have fun.
There you go. We'll call it the Battle of the Beverages, and if you're in chat watching, let us know, G Fuel or Bud Light. If you had to pick one, it's your only 2 drink options, which one are you going with? Let's see which one wins in chat. We'll check in on that here in just a little bit. But we got a little battle starting to go here. Eric Stamp, and I believe that is Gomez. It is Christian Gomez, as Eric Stamp's going to get by him right now for 5th position.
Stamp has worked his way through the field after that green flag cycle. Getting around Christian Gomez, now will have his eyes set on the 49 car of Man. Just up ahead of him, not too far, but still, these guys a little bit further back. You can't quite see Deweese. There he is, bottom of your screen, but these guys have fallen off the pace of Shane Therian, have fallen almost a second off of his pace, but Therian has lost another 4/10 to Stafford, who is still putting down some blistering laps on this pace, coming down to just 17 laps to go.
Yeah, just 17 laps to go, and you can see riding on the back of Braxton Deweese here onto his gearbox cam. Look at the gap. That is right now from 3rd to 4th place of Eric Stamp. If you go to Eric Stamp's back bumper, that gap's not quite as big between him and that 49 of Man. Man really trying to work him over right now, and he's going to get right to his back bumper. And we may see that battle heating up once again. It's not quite done just yet.
Yeah, Stamp has moved up 2 spots in the past couple of laps. We'll see if the 49 has anything to take another punch back at him as he pulls up right on the rear bumper and turns it down, trying to get a run here down the straightaway. I'm sure Deweese is perfectly fine seeing this battle in his rearview mirror, but still, Man just isn't able to have enough speed down the back straightaway to keep up with Stamp, who will now move into P4.
Indeed, and getting a couple of people. There we go. We got one for G Fuel, and we got one since Bud Light is no more, is not a beverage. It's an elixir of life.
Okay.
There you go. There you have it. We got a 50-50 split here with less than 20 to go, coming up on 15 laps to go left in the race. As man still trying to run down Stamp, can't quite get to him as Stamp just passed him for the position just a bit ago. The closest battle on track is going to be back here for 14th position between Caleb Smith and Jared Matthew, and even that one has really kind of spread out. So battles getting far and few between here, as we do have something brewing back here in the back with Tyler Stooksbury. It looks like Calvin Gretorix in this one as well.
These guys still going at it here. Unfortunately for Gomez, continuing to drop, or excuse me, that's not Gomez, excuse me. But McDowell dropped a little bit. Still sitting though in the 9th position, trying to bring home a top 10. Still just kind of battling around a couple of lap cars as they continue to switch and move around. Yeah,
again, it goes to show you what we were talking about earlier. These guys, you know, not battling for the lead, but still, you can't count them out. They are putting on a good show back here. You know, you can't always have everybody winning. There's a first, second, third, and so on. So it doesn't matter where you're battling. You're out here having fun, and these guys are putting on a heck of a show back here towards, again, the 20th place. Just not their night here tonight, unfortunately. But I'm sure we'll be talking about them here towards the front before you know it. Especially that 20. He's actually towards front again. He's a lap car, Andy McDowell. He's in 9th position, so he is towards the front. But unfortunately, just through a chain of events and stuff, he just isn't up actually battling with the other top 10 drivers.
Still a long season ahead, a 15-round season for the Adrenaline iRacing League. Next week, Bristol Motor Speedway. That'll be a fun one over there at the half-mile track. So be sure to join us all. The series races will be on LSR TV, 6 Eastern, every single Sunday afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. And of course, another big race, one of the 4 Crown Jewel races, the Adrenaline 600K. That'll be at Charlotte. They'll pay, again, those extra playoff points. Everyone fighting to get into the round of 12. There's only 10 races to do so, and we are going to be 2 rounds into it after tonight. Of course, it's win and you are in, trying to be one of those 12 drivers to make it into the playoffs when we start at New Hampshire on September 6th.
Yeah, again, it is an awesome season here. This is going on season number 2. This is their first season in the Cup cars, though. You know, and I'm starting to see a trend here as well for Cup cars. Is that not only they went from trucks to Cup cars from their first season to second season. Northwest Racing Cup Series that we cover on Monday, sadly is off this Monday for the 4th if they take off around holidays. That was their first season in Cup cars as well. They went from Xfinity to Cup. So a lot of guys really starting to take a liking to these Cup cars. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, Devin, when they get the new damage model back on these cars, which are turned off right now, I'm really going to be looking forward to that, because when these cars come flying apart with that new damage model, they look absolutely amazing.
Hey, I don't know about that, because these cars really aren't moving around and hitting too many things. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that damage model here in this series. They're just running too clean.
You got a point there. Is we got a battle going on just as it happens. Braxton DeWeese passing Shane Therian for second place for the car that had been oh so fast and so dominant early in this race in that 38. He has now lost one more spot to Braxton DeWeese in that 27. The question is he going to be able to get up to Bronson Stafford, who has nearly a 4-second lead right now?
Yeah, I don't think so. Stafford right now is, I would say, on cruise control, but he continues to gap the entire field. All he needs is this race to stay green. But DeWeese, hey, he might want this race to stay green as well. I think Therian just had to use up so much car after that pit cycle, falling from the front all the way to 6th and then working his way back up into second place. He might just not have enough right front tire, just not enough car left on track here to keep on moving forward, as DeWeese is now looking to pick up a runner-up finish here at Auto Club Speedway.
Yeah, and I'm wondering a little bit, look how close those two are together right now. I'm wondering if that lap car back there, that is the 12 that was coming into the picture, and that is going to be Dylan Browning. I'm wondering if that lap car maybe played a factor in Deweese being able to get by. And at least I maybe was thinking that. Now we're seeing that gap start to build back up, but there for a minute, Shane Therian was all over the back bumper of Braxton.
Yeah, and of course these cars can get a little bit loose if you get up on that rear bumper, but Deweese's car looked to handle pretty well in that moment. Deweese has actually ticked off about a tenth of Stafford's lead, but still, it's going to be way too little too late if he does not get a caution. Only 8 laps to go.
Yeah, now that little bit of a gap has faded away, so it looks like, based on what we're seeing here, you know, there's 4 quarters of the track. It looks like Braxton Deweese is faster, possibly in 3 and 4, possibly, and Stafford the faster in 1 and 2. It may be the reverse of that, but either way, that gap is not growing on Braxton Deweese as fast as it was. Now you see it shrinking and going the opposite way, as I believe that was turn 1 that they were at. No, that was turn 4. So yeah, turn 3 and 4, Braxton may be just a kick faster, but not so much in 3 and 4.
He could be. I'm really surprised how quick Stafford was running against the rest of these drivers, accumulating a 4-second lead. That is a big deal, and he just ran away from the field like it was nothing here on this fixed setup. So at this point, I'm surprised that at about 2 seconds he didn't turn on cruise control, but at this point either he's losing a little bit of tire or he is finally putting the cruise control on, as he is now maintaining the gap of almost exactly 4 seconds between him and second place Braxton Deweese, as we now only have 6 laps to go here.
At 6 laps to go, and this race will conclude. Of course, so we still have the post-race though to jump over to, but Stafford, he is just putting on a clinic here at the moment. I won't say he had put a clinic on the field, but he's doing it here in those last 20 laps, definitely. With a 4-second lead, and actually it's down to 3.7, 3.8. So Braxton Deweese, I think he may have a car that could potentially win this race. Like you said, if we see a caution, we have 5 laps to go. As that flagman putting 5 fingers in the air for the drivers, but I just don't think he has enough time. He is closing the gap, but not enough time, and like you said, Stafford could be on cruise control right now too.
And at this point, Deweese would have to gain about 3/4 of a second per lap if he even wants to catch up to Stafford. Unless there's a caution, I don't want to dig too much into it, but essentially Stafford might have this one in the bag if there is no caution. But if a caution did show up, who is to say that it still would be potentially Deweese's race to win? Because who knows what would happen on pit road? Who's going to miss their pit box? Who might get a little bit faster spot, a faster stop because of iRacing's randomization? So a caution would throw probably the entire top 5 into the mix. But right now, Stafford is hoping that the rest of this race keeps on going green. Only 3.5 to go.
Yeah, he definitely is hoping he is. Braxton Deweese is going to get by the 46, who of course is currently not on the lead lap. Your top 5 right now are Stafford, Deweese, Therian, Stamp, and Mann, as they run. As Stafford is, well, at this point, he's put the keys on the counter and checked out. He's done with his hotel. He's moving on to Bristol as he comes to the line right there. As we're going to have just a handful of laps, about, what, 2 laps left, as we're on lap 118 of 120. And Devin, it has been an amazing race so far. A lot of action, and really didn't start kind of thinning out the battles here until the last, little few laps.
And that final pit cycle really defined how this race was going to end. You still saw Therian move up 3 spots. You still saw Stamp move up through the field. Even Deweese moved up through the field. Gomez slid back a little bit. That last pit cycle and who pitted when played a huge factor in how this race is going to finish. But how about Bronson Stafford coming to 2 to go? last year in the first season of the series did not get a win, but accumulated the second most points of any driver throughout the entire course of the season. And now it's win and you're in. If he can find this checkered flag, he'll be guaranteed a spot in this year's playoffs, and not to mention win his first ever race in the series, truck or cup car.
Yeah, he is on the move. He'll be getting the white flag this time by, as that's G Fuel, number 61 Toyota is going to get it. And right now, I want to point out too that earlier this race was dominated by the Toyotas. Right now, it is Toyota, Chevy, Ford, one of each manufacturer in the top 3 right now. That is a far cry from what it was, but still Toyota has the majority in the top 5 with 3 out of the top 5 drivers.
Yeah, Eric Stamp has moved past Shane Therian to move into that 3rd position as they still battle it out. This might be a good race with the checkered flag here to determine who's going to be on the podium, as man is ready to strike right behind him.
Yeah, and they're going to go 2, almost 3 wide. We know pretty much Bronson Stafford and Braxton Louise got 1st and 2nd, so we'll stay back here with these guys as the checkered flag will be coming out momentarily. And there it is right there. Stafford gets the win, followed by Louise. And it is going to be Eric Stamp, followed by Therian, and man, your top 5. What a battle here for these, like 3rd, 4th, and 5th right now. The battle for the lead kind of checked out, but it was not anywhere near over back towards the back of the field.
3/1000ths of a second. That is what separates Eric Stamp and Shane Therian from landing on the podium. But how about we set off the fireworks? Bronson Stafford wins his first career Adrenaline iRacing League race, and he is now locked into the 2020 Cup Series playoffs.
Yeah, and just to talk about here, just how close you talked about that 3/1000ths of a second. On one scoring we have, it goes a little further back here, but on our main scoring, it only does an X.XX, which is 1.23 or whatever it happens to be. It doesn't go to that 3rd one. According to this, where it actually doesn't go back as far, it was showing 0.00 between Eric Stamp and Shane Therian, just because one scoring doesn't go to that 3rd decimal or number after the decimal. So that just an amazing finish as we watch the number 61 of Stafford just light it up, burn those tires down. Your results are on the screen. We won't run through them here, but we have them up on the screen. And we'll step away. When we come back, it'll be the Clan War server post-race show here on LSR TV. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here with the Clan Wars server post-race show. Again, Clan Wars server, the official communication partner of LSR TV here at Auto Club Speedway. What a race it was! We have your top three, as we'll be talking to Eric Stamp first in third place, and his thoughts on the race. We know somewhat what they are. His first words to us were, "It's glad to be back in the booth." We're glad to have him back in the booth. Eric, how is this car handling out there at Auto Club? And just give us a rundown of what this race is like. As you got in third place, I believe it was a record of .003 was the gap.
Yeah, no, it was just a dream to drive all day. I DQ'd myself in qualifying and had to start on the back foot, and not having any cautions made it hard to catch up. But it was to go through the whole field like that. Just it's a race like this that reminds you why you like doing this.
Definitely a good race, and we're going to backtrack to that. How in the world did you get DQ'd during qualifying?
I hit the wall out of 4 on my warm-up lap, and I didn't tow quick enough, and the scrutiny disqualified me.
Well, there you go. Getting disqualified during qualifying, manages to come back to a third place finish. Overall, Auto Club, a different type of track. It's really wide. There's a lot of runoff. We didn't have but one caution minus the stage. How did you expect this race to go? Caution free, a lot of cautions. What was your mindset coming in here, and has it changed since the start of the race?
Well, I knew last season in the trucks we only had like 4 cautions, I think, including the stage. So with the cup cars that are easier to handle, I knew it was going to be a clean one if everyone kept their fenders off each other. And yeah, I was, we did some practice runs for the first stage, and I was, ready to one-stop it in the second stage, and it worked to a T.
Well, it worked for you here tonight. You get third place wrapped up. Good points tonight for you as well. And of course, there's people that make the car fast and keep you going on the track. Who would those be on the side of that car?
Oh, well, down here in Southern California, I have to thank Mountain Dew Baja Blast for being on the car. Great help, beautiful car. Got to thank Trenton Justin Teal, my bad, for the paint scheme. And it was, Taco Bell, Smuckers, Progressive, whole crew. It was wonderful.
Definitely a good run for you here tonight. Congrats on third place. And I believe Devin has cut up with Braxton, our second place finisher.
Yeah, Braxton DeWeese brings it home in second. But the first thing I want to go to is we talked about how much that last pit stop under green affected how this race ended. You missed your pit stall and still managed to run up through the field into second. Take me through your mindset coming out of the pits and seeing how far man was in front of you.
Well, I knew right as we went through our pit box there and we went back, that we'd still be able to be in the running in the race to win, because we pitted a couple laps earlier. So we ended up being like 2-second lead when everybody ended up pitting. So that's what really helped me, pitting early there. If I would have pitted later and went through my box, it would have been a lot more hard to come through that field there and see if we get the win.
And you came through the field extremely well, passing a number of just really fast drivers and holding on to that second position. What was it like moving through the field and then trying to hold on to that second position late when you're so late in a run?
Well, the one thing I really wanted to work on was saving my tires at the beginning of the run, trying to be as smooth as possible. So at the end of the run there, we'd be able to be quick. That's why throughout mostly all the runs that we've had, I was fairly quick in all of them, because I tried to save at the beginning, like I said, and I saved pretty good and worked out. Just happy with the second place finish. Second at Daytona, second here. It's great. Good points days.
Yeah, good points. I'm sure that you want to get up to that top step on the podium, though, but still a great showing here tonight on a really rough Auto Club Speedway track. How did the track treat you tonight with just how rough and bumpy, and it just loves to eat up rubber?
Well, once you run on the track multiple times, you start feeling the bumps in the track. So you want to make sure you position your car in the in a lane to where there's not as many bumps going through the turn. So you want to go as smooth as possible, and just being able to miss them bumps there and driving a corner to be smooth. It's really helpful.
Well, we love the neon on that car. Another second place finish tonight. Who do you got to thank for this performance here? Back-to-back second place finishes.
I'd like to thank everybody watching right now. I mean, everybody, they're listening to this right now. I appreciate all you guys tuning in and watching and trying to support me. It's, means a lot to me, and I really do appreciate it. And I wanted to say thanks to Premier Group, Coy Hearts Media, and Peak Performance Motorsports for letting me drive their car, and you guys for broadcasting it. This is great. You guys do a great job.
Well, it makes it a little bit easier when you have racing like we did tonight. Few cautions, lots of action, and Bronson Stafford or Braxton DeWeese, excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong name. Coming home in second again. Braxton, congrats.
Thank you.
Well, now we'll catch up with your third place finisher. Cody is with Eric Stamp.
Bronson Stafford. Just talk to Eric, but Eric, we love talking to him anyway. Bronson Stafford bringing home the win here tonight. Bronson, it's always good to have you in the booth. We talk to you quite often, and we talk even before the race. I go down there and give him crap as much as we can. But getting the win here tonight at Auto Club, you went and you're in. How does it feel to get that virtual monkey off your back here and get that win?
Really good, especially after last season. I never won a race last season because Shane and Ryan they were too good. Him and Bell, and they were too quick. So I was always just right behind them. So it feels good to second race of the season, get a win not only for that, but that's back-to-back wins for the team now as well. So that's even a bigger bonus.
Oh, you got a lot of teammates out here that are running with you. Again, if I recall, and hopefully I'm right, you got Shane up there. Kenny was up there a while, or Robert Kenny. How cool would it have been to get a 1, 2, 3? Because all three of you were up there for a while.
Yeah, obviously the goal is always, try and do the best as we can as a team, and however it falls at the end, race through each other. Ideally, get away from the field and all that. Kenny got the wall at one point, though, kind of eliminated himself out, and I think the best he could get was 7th without a caution. And Shane got the wall a little bit just before pit stops for that final time and had a couple seconds of damage, and it was just made it a little bit tighter. But we did get 1, 2, 3 in the stage, though, so that's nice.
Yes, definitely stage points are a huge factor. Auto Club, we've talked a little bit about it. It's a different track. It's wide. You can really go 3 wide here pretty easy. How comfortable were you going 3 wide early on in this race? We saw it happening, but how comfortable is it with such a wide track?
I think it really depends more on who you're around. There's a lot of new guys this season, so 3 wide you try and avoid every now and then. Obviously, towards the end of the race, you just kind of do it because you need to for positions. But the start of the race is, if you're not super used to running with guys like what we are so far this season, we just kind of try and avoid as much as possible. There's a lot of give and take tonight on 3 wide. I noticed too. Like there was a couple times 3 wide where the guy on the very top of the track, he'd back out of the 3 wide and just let it be 2 wide, and so it was really nice to see. Like everyone was being really courteous. Everyone was racing really good. So yeah, I think we're in for a solid season if we can keep this up.
Well, hopefully a solid season is the way it goes. And before we let you go, we know you got people to thank for making the car fast and getting you in victory lane here tonight.
Oh yeah, always. We have a new sponsor on board this week. We had G Fuel. Tom's ran it for a long time now, and it's moved over to Kenny and my car as well. So the big swirly car that you saw on the track, that's a new one. And obviously Cineplex and everyone back at Sky Motorsports, Kenny, Shane Terrian, and Austin Gretorix is our main team for that. And then we have our B team of Brown Motorsports, kind of a play on the name with Dyer and Rodriguez, Tom Bourne, and Calvin Gretorix. And all week we've gone back and forth with strategies, figured out what was quick, where practice was going to be, tire fall off, and I think it really helps when you have a lot of guys that you can come and race with. So, I want to shout TJ and Breaky out and all that stuff for running this league too. They've done a really good job this year. They've pulled in good numbers, good car counts for the first 2 races so far, and obviously you guys for broadcasting it every week and doing the great job that you always do.
Well, we appreciate it. And again, congrats on the win here tonight. That is just about going to wrap it up for us. Before we sign off, Devin, any final words for everyone out there?
It's just been some really good racing these first 2 rounds of the Adrenaline iRacing League, and so I'm really looking forward to Bristol, where I think we're going to see a little bit more torn up sheet metal. It's going to be a really interesting race once we hit the half-mile of Bristol, as opposed to this 2 mile and 2.5 mile tracks that we started the season with. So might be seeing a little bit different style of racing, but these guys, they've been running really clean and they've been running really well.
That they have. And again, that is going to do it here tonight from Auto Club Speedway here on LSR TV for the Adrenaline iRacing League. Again, we are off this Monday. Off Tuesday, we'll be back. Myself and Chris Nunn on the call for the World of Thunder, the 87 series with those 87 old NASCAR cars on dirt. So make sure you tune in for that. On behalf of myself, Devin, and everyone else that makes it possible here at LSR TV and Adrenaline iRacing League, we'll see you Wednesday night for World of Thunder. Until then, stay safe and have a happy 4th of July weekend.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.